Money is one of the few places where spirituality tends to fall apart. Either we're told it shouldn't matter at all, or it becomes the thing that we think about more than we'd like to admit. And I don't know many people, even deeply spiritual people, who feel truly at peace when it comes to money. What I want to do is explore this question in a very different way today, not by giving advice, but by looking at how different spiritual teachers and their perspectives actually relate to money and what tension they expose in us. So let's start with one of the most famous spiritual responses when it comes to money, and that's Ram Dass. After his awakening experience in India, Ram Dass talked a lot about service, about giving, about not living a life organized around accumulation. He wasn't anti-money, but he was very clear that money could easily become a substitute for love, for security, or for meaning. His question wasn't, how much money do you have? It was, what's your relationship to it? I think if he were sitting with us right now, he'd ask us questions like, are you using money to protect yourself from feeling vulnerable, from feeling dependent? And if you have a lot of money, or you don't have a lot of money, he'd say, use it to go to God. That was his way of saying, from a spiritual perspective, either path is going to give you grist for awakening. So if this is your experience, that's your path up the mountain. If this is your experience, that's your path up the mountain. Now, this is a powerful perspective, but it isn't the only one, because I see it in the work that I've done with people. Money affects stress, which directly impacts your capacity for inner work and for growth. Some people come in and they'll say, money doesn't really matter to me. And I get that. I mean, in fact, I think I've even said it myself. But what I would say back to that is the nervous system clearly knows that it does. And so this is where Carl Jung becomes incredibly relevant. Carl Jung warned that whatever we disown doesn't disappear, it just goes underground. So if you disown your desire for security, money actually may end up running your life unconsciously. This was true for me. I didn't grow up poor, but I inherited a nervous system that was definitely shaped by scarcity. And so even when there was enough, my body didn't believe that. From a Jungian perspective, money isn't just currency, it's a carrier of shadow. So if you subtly make it bad or unspiritual, it can actually deepen the unconscious grip that it already actually has on us. Then there's another voice that adds yet another layer. So Toni Packer is a Zen teacher. She warned that ideals, even spiritual ideals, can subtly put us out of direct contact with our actual experience. And this is where the tension sharpens, because on one side, there's something very real about non-attachment, about not organizing yourself and your life around fear and accumulation. And on the other side, there's something very real about responsibility, about stability, about honoring the material conditions of your life. The problem isn't that one of these views is right and the other one is wrong. The problem is that most of us unconsciously pick one and we use it to avoid something that we don't want to face. Some people use spirituality to avoid ambition. Some people use ambition to avoid vulnerability. Some people use detachment to avoid responsibility. Some use responsibility to avoid asking these deeper questions about meaning. And so what I've learned is that money becomes most painful when it's unconscious. Money has a very strange way of revealing where we're divided within ourselves. And if tension comes up around it, that doesn't mean that you're failing spiritually. It means that you're touching something real, something worth exploring, worth listening to. And learning how to stay present with that tension without collapsing into shame or justification or spiritual bypassing, that might be one of the most grounding, most human, and genuinely spiritual practices that there actually is. If this resonates with you, feel free to subscribe for more reflections at the intersection of inner work, awakening, and real human life. Peace and love.